I'm back. Yeah, I made a video about a week ago about how me as a young Black American woman, how I am adamantly and vehemently against baby mama culture. And the responses that I got were just phenomenal. I really love to see like a lot of young Black girls who are ridding themselves of that poisonous mindset that is not progressive for our community. And although most of my responses were on the positive side, there were some things that I did want to address pertaining to the negative comments. Let's get into that. Number one, let's just get this out the way. I am by no means against single mothers, okay? I myself was raised by a single mom, which is why I can speak to why I don't want that type of life for myself or for other young Black girls, okay? My mom worked her off to take care of my sister and I. And even though she did a phenomenal job with doing that, it doesn't mean that she should have been able to do it alone. She should have had help.
You know what? She's absolutely right. It's not about if it could happen. Can you survive? Can your kids survive? Of course, most of them survive. They're not going to just fall out. It's not just about simply surviving. Bottom line, it's not the best way to raise kids. For decades now, you have millions that's been raised up under this system, and that's the broken system of single-parent homes led by women. Recently, this woman right here, she got backlash on her views on baby mama culture. We're gonna go ahead and get into it, but first, take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. Won't waste any time. Let's go ahead and jump back into it.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I do not place all accountability on the woman when it comes to raising children in fatherless homes. The men are responsible as well. However, ladies, if we're being honest, you don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but this is my opinion. More oftentimes than not, based off of observation from what I've seen, a lot of times these women who find themselves in single mother situations, they didn't have these kids because they truly wanted to be mothers. They had those kids thinking that it was going to keep the man around.
Yeah, that's the reason for some of them. Another reason is for some sort of benefit, whether it's from the government, whether it's for benefits and resources from the man himself, all kinds of selfish reasons. And when you really take a deep dive and examine those reasons, most of them have little or nothing to do with the kids at all.
But y'all are not ready for that conversation, and it's okay. But I said what I said, and I'm not taking it back. Secondly, when you say, oh, you know, sometimes things just happen, everything isn't as it seems, sometimes you just get pregnant. I'm not buying that BS as well. Do you know how many types of birth control there is? Okay? There's other sorts of contraceptives as far as what the man may take. And even if you were to get pregnant, us as women, we have the final decision on whether or not we want to continue the pregnancy.
And you know what? That's one excuse that I'm just so sick of Black people using. Talking about things just happen. Things don't just happen. You make it happen. And this is one of the biggest reasons why the community is in the hole right now. Nobody wants to take accountability at all. Everything just happens to them, as if it's just pools of sperm all over the floor and Black women just slip and land on it and end up pregnant. That's not how this works. And you have so-called grown adults still going around using this stupid excuse.
Accountability is what I'm just saying. I'm not that type of TikToker where I'm going to put everything on the man. I'm not. Us as women, we have to take control of our narrative and our reality as well. And that is who my TikToks are for.
This sister is absolutely right. Everybody's gonna have to take accountability, but for some reason, Black women seem to be allergic to it. So you always see them backing each other up in their own failures, and then you have these simps that's also backing them up in their nonsense. It's all really a shame.
And lastly, the final thing that I wanted to address was the comment that just irked me the most. Well, married women can be single mothers as well.
And you know, it's funny because I can tell from the look on her face that she's just sick of the plain ignorance. This happens all the time in the Black community, especially amongst the women. Constantly trying to devalue married women, marriage, and commitment while uplifting single motherhood and baby mama culture.
If you actually took the time to watch the video, you would have been able to understand the fact that I was trying to say, as young Black girls, we're not even making it down the aisle because only 1 out of 4 of us are only to get married. Final point, if you are not married, you have no business having kids. Argue with your mama.
I agree with that statement 100%. That's another thing I hear all the time for women, and believe it or not, a lot of men as well. They love to say marriage isn't for everybody. Exactly. And having kids isn't for everybody either, especially if you're not married. A kid should be made by a husband and a wife. If you're not husband and wife, then you're unqualified. Just because you have organs and you can reproduce doesn't mean that you're qualified to do so. A lot of people, they're going around duplicating their genes, duplicating bad habits, duplicating bad genes, duplicating bad character, duplicating bad morals, or the lack of morals. I'm sorry, society is not going to miss whatever you're going to create. We don't need more of y'all to reproduce nothing. All you're doing is causing more problems and bringing up more bad people into the community that the sensible, responsible adults have to take care of. You're not helping. So I promise the world is not going to stop because you can't reproduce because you don't want to be married. You don't want to be married. Don't have kids.
The fourth comment that really got on my nerves is when some of the comments were like, you're a hypocrite. You don't even have kids. Okay. If I were to call you stupid, I would be mean. But in order for me to be a hypocrite, I would have to be preaching against something that I'm actively doing. I don't have children. I don't have multiple kids out of wedlock. So that doesn't make me a hypocrite because I'm not doing what I say that I'm against. The fifth thing that got on my nerves, this isn't a black woman issue. Any woman can be a single mother.
And yes, that's true. Single mothers and baby mamas are present within every culture, every ethnicity. But the black community is the only community that would not only condone it, but they actually praise single motherhood. Take Naomi Osaka, for instance. Now, before she wasn't black enough, but now that she's a baby mama, you better believe that everyone in the black community will accept her. Now, send her back to Japan and see how they deal with her.
And lastly, for the people who like to come into my comments and irritate me and say, well, marriage isn't for everybody, I swear to God. Jesus. If you are a black person saying stuff like this, please block me, unfollow me. You are not welcomed on my page disrespectfully. I do not want you here. As black people, we're not even in the predicament to even be saying things like that. We need to be promoting conversation when we are unified, not promoting single parent, fatherless homes. All right?
Yeah, I definitely approve that message. If you're not qualified for marriage, you're not qualified for parenthood. A baby is to be pushed out by a wife and born to its father, which is their mother's husband. End of story. And it's a shame that single parenthood has been normalized this much. The fact that you have to tell grown people common sense stuff. I don't know who told you that everybody was qualified to be a parent. Just as I believe that everyone is not qualified to be a wife or a husband, everyone is also not qualified to be a parent. If we can get this simple practice together, I think overall we will have a better community. And as a group, we can see some real progress like other groups. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Why is it so hard for people to understand this? Shout out to all the supporters of the channel, including Smoke Jensen, Judas Lion, Dark Power, and James W. I appreciate all of you for your support. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.